Unscripted.
Now, I'll be the first one to give props when it's needed, and what Xbox is doing right now, I really like this. I think this is a really cool thing, and I also want to point out that I feel like this is something that I wish PlayStation was doing as well. Now, of course, there's going to be a lot of people that realistically talk about how, PlayStation maybe doesn't need it or whatever. That's neither here nor there for me. Just for myself, as a PlayStation 5 owner, I wish that Microsoft and Sony were doing a lot of the same things, and they are, but in particular this, and I wanted to talk about it. Also, maybe you've noticed there's sort of a little bit different format. I've been working on the title situation. I understand people don't like the clickbait and things like that, so if you don't, then why not show some love and support for the titles that are just normal and the videos that are normal? Because I've taken some feedback and I've tried to rearrange some things. The titles are going to be more reflective of what I'm talking about. I'm going to go into right away pretty much what I'm going to talk about and then give my opinions on that afterwards. So hopefully it's not as convoluted. But yeah, so I wanted to get into this because I think this is phenomenal stuff. And yes, a positive Xbox video. Hurrah! Let's go. So just know I'm paying attention to what you guys are asking for and things like that. Keep that in mind. Show some love. Share some love. And let's get going, shall we? Because this is what really gets me excited about gaming right now. Let's get going. Now, when it comes to what the Xbox is doing, we've all heard the jokes about the tools and things like that, and the tools being late to actually showing up, and that's why PlayStation 5 oftentimes runs as good or sometimes even better in terms of performance than the Xbox Series X. But now there's a certain tool set that has actually come to the Xbox Series X, full access to AMD Fidelity FX tools. Microsoft Xbox console shares most of their big games with the PC, and going forward, crossplay development is going to be just a little bit easier. Today, during Microsoft's GameStack Live event, this was actually yesterday, I believe, it was announced that AMD Fidelity FX is now fully supported on Xbox Series X and S. And here's what AMD had to say about it entering the console space, and I quote, "Today we're very happy to announce that AMD Fidelity FX is available for Xbox. This news makes it even easier than before to write cross-platform games. With developers able to access select AMD Fidelity FX effects and special optimizations for Windows and Xbox, game developers can now utilize further platform-specific optimizations with AMD Fidelity FX straight from the Xbox Series X and S development kit. This development is very excited to all, and AMD who have worked to deliver these effects into the hands of even more developers. And we will continue to strive for our highly optimized effects to be at the forefront of the cross-platform game development. Xbox game developers interested in getting started with AMD Fidelity FX can do so with the latest game development kits, where samples for contrast adaptive sharpening, variable shading, and ray trace shadow technologies are actually available. So they didn't really give any word on when the Fidelity FX is coming to PlayStation, but Sony's console also runs AMD chips, so it's very likely, and it's actually kind of been sort of hinted at that it's going to be going there as well. So this is the first bit of pretty good information. Basically means, this is all kind of the start to what we're going to be seeing, and then I think next year we're going to see the equivalent to the DLSS stuff coming out for both the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5. For those who are unfamiliar what AMD Fidelity FX is, it's an image quality toolkit for game developers, which makes implemented techniques like ambient occlusion, variable shading, and AMD's custom sharpening techniques easier. And AMD has promised to eventually add Fidelity FX Super Resolution, which is essentially their version of NVIDIA's DLSS techniques to the toolkit, but it's yet to arrive. I expect that to be there by sometime next year, which basically DLSS, I've kind of covered this multiple times on the channel. I'm sure a lot of you know what it is. Basically, machine learning, which takes, like, say, a 1440p image and makes it look as good as a native 4K image, or sometimes even better, according to Digital Foundry. And that way it takes less strain on the hardware itself, and you can do better frame rates, more conducive frame rates, and also things like ray tracing, and not have it bog down performance. Like, if you want an example of this, go back to the PlayStation 5 Unreal Engine 5 demo, where they completely showcased it, and they did a really good job with that, and that was a 1440p utilizing sort of DLSS, so really did a fantastic job doing that, and I think it's like a one-of-a-kind thing. So yeah, bravo to them for actually going out there and doing it, and I think that it's absolutely been fantastic. And I really do think that it's something that a lot of people are going to be talking about, because this is the future of gaming, folks, and console gaming for sure. Now, the other thing I wanted to get into, which I thought was pretty phenomenal, which was the fact that Microsoft is introducing more games featuring frames per second boost, which I thought was absolutely a brilliant thing. Back in February 2021, they shared Xbox Wire that backwards compatibility team developed FPS Boost, a feature employing a variety of new methods for nearly doubling the original frame rate on select titles. Higher, steadier frame rates make games visually smoother, resulting in more immersive gameplay. They partnered closely with developers to enhance an experience while maintaining the game's original intent. And while not applicable on all games, these new techniques can push game engines to render more quickly for a buttery smooth experience, beyond what the actual original game might have delivered due to the limitations of the hardware at time. So in some instances, because there are higher graphical requirements to enable the FPS Boost technology, they had to reduce the game's resolution to ensure both runs smoothly and plays great. In those select cases, FPS Boost is not automatically enabled for Series X gamers, but can easily be turned on under the compatibility options in the Manage Game and Add-on settings. To experience FPS Boost and to be able to toggle the feature on and off, make sure your console has taken the latest update and you've rebooted your console completely. To see if a game you're playing is running FPS Boost or Auto HDR, you can also just now tap the Xbox button on your controller while in the game, and you'll see a guide overlay the indicator in the upper right corner that says if it's enabled or not. For more details about these compatibility settings and setting up 120 Hz gameplay, there is an article, and I'm going to link this as well. Now, what's really cool is the number of 120 Hz games that are actually there now. Like, I thought this was really awesome, because I, like a lot of people, bought a new TV to experience some of these games at the 120 frames per second. So Battlefield 4, for instance, 120 Hz. Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare, 120 Hz. Plants vs. Zombies Battle for the Neighborhood, 120 Hz. Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2, 120 Hz. Star Wars Battlefront, 120 Hz. Battlefield 5, 120 Hz. Battlefield 4, Battlefield 1, Mirror's Edge Catalyst. Let's see. Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2, Titanfall 1 and 2, Unravel 2, all 120 Hz. New Super Lucky Style 120 Hz. A lot of stuff like Fallout 4 has been up to 60 Hz. Fallout 76 60 Hz. Prey 60 Hz. Sniper Elite 4 60 Hz. UFC 4 60 Hz. Watch Dogs 2 60 Hz. Dishonored Definitive Edition 60 Hz. So basically, some of these games that really kind of struggled on the older hardware are getting complete overhauls in terms of the frames per second, and I do think that that's absolutely incredible. I love seeing the new technology that comes out and does this. Though, in my opinion, this is an absolute win for Xbox Series X owners and for Microsoft, being able to put out a console that's getting, you could maybe blame them for not exactly having the tools ready to go. I get it, and I poke fun of it and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I think that they are doing a good job, and this is probably going to be a longer generation than most, due to the whole COVID situation and the pandemic and the lockdowns and the slow adoption rates due to the consoles not even being available. So we're going to continue to see these things be hard to come, probably until next year sometime. And again, I think that the games we're getting is fine. I love the idea of game preservation and the fact that they're going back and updating these games, and they're able to run such a smooth frame rate and things like that. Really cool, like stuff you thought you'd never see from a game console. And I know it's a little bit difficult on the PlayStation 5 to do the 120 Hz on old games, because you have to completely rewrite the code, I guess. But it's not that it's not capable, it's just that Microsoft are pretty much geniuses when it comes to being able to supplement the actual game code and just kind of go around that and still get these things to absolutely go out there and beast. And I love that. So bravo to Microsoft for getting that stuff out there. I think it's tremendous what they've been able to achieve, really kind of juicing up the Xbox Series X. And at a time like this where there's not a lot coming out, or there is absolutely stuff happening due to like the pandemic and things like that, I do think that it's something that a lot of people are going to be talking about, and it's very important. As for like the DLSS stuff and the stuff that's coming with the Fidelity FX, I think that's obviously like the future of console gaming, and we'll continue to see updates and things like that. I think that's brilliant. Again, both PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X are going to do this stuff. I know a lot of people will probably argue RDNA this, RDNA that, but at the end of the day, they're both going to be doing the similar things, same things, and it just really kind of depends on where you want to play. If you can play on multiple consoles, that's what I always suggest. That's probably the best way to do it, and I think that that's going to be something that people are going to kind of understand going from here on out. Now, with that being said, I'm going to link these articles in the description below. You guys can check that out. Let me know what you think. I really appreciate it. If you enjoy the videos, please let me know. Sound off, rate, comment, subscribe. As always, have a fantastic day. You guys take care of each other. Share the love. Show the love. Crapgamer out.
Unscripted.